this video, we want to look at multiple transformations performed on a parent function. We have the function f of x equals negative parentheses x plus 4 all cubed minus 2. Our first step is to figure out what is the parent function. So our parent is what function do you have when you take away anything that has been added, subtracted, or multiplied in the function. So the add, that part's going away, this part's going away, and this is essentially times -1, so that part's going away. So what do we have left? We have the x and we have the cubed. So our parent function is f of x equals x cubed. Let's sketch that to the right. So we know that x cubed goes through the origin. It has the points 1, 1 and 2, 8. And -1, -1, and -2, 8. So that's our parent function, x cubed. Now we want to look at this function that we're given from left to right. What has been done to the function? What operations have been performed on it? We have this minus sign here. Notice that that minus sign is in the front. It's not inside. So if it's outside in the front, that is telling us it's a reflection. We're not subtracting a number. We're not multiplying by a whole integer. It is a minus sign in the front. So if it's in the front, it's a reflection. And we need to decide, is this over x or over y? And so this is actually going to be over the x-axis. So if it's outside in the front, it's over the x-axis. So we're reflecting over the x-axis. And our next transformation happens here with this -4. The positive 4 that's happening inside those parentheses. That positive 4 is inside. So we're kind of doing the opposite of what we think, inside opposite. So if this is a positive 4, we're going to change the sign and make it negative. So we're going to move this left 4 units. Okay, so again, inside is right and left and right. If it's a +4, you're going in the minus direction. So you're doing the opposite of what you think. And lastly, we have a -2 on the outside that's been subtracted. So -2 takes that whole graph and shifts it down 2 units. Down 2 units. So what I want to do is I'm going to graph this first one, this reflection over the x-axis. I'm going to use that with a dotted line. And then I'm going to do the left and the down all at the same time. Okay, so let's talk about how to reflect over the x-axis using our parent function. If we have the point 1, 1, the y value is what's changing here. The y value of that point is changing signs. So if this is 1, 1, now it's going to be 1, -1. And if this is 2, 8, the y value goes from 8 to -8. So it flips over the x-axis. So I'm changing the y value here. So now I've got this graph. That was this side reflected down. Now let's do this side that's going down, and it's going to reflect up. So again, the same thing, -1, but this went -1, so the opposite of that is +1. And this is -2, -8. The opposite of -8 is +8. So we're all the way up here. So I'm just doing this in pieces. So we have done the reflecting over the x-axis. Now I'm going to actually do all of these, both of these at the same time. I'm going to do it in green so we can see it. So we're going to move each point left 4 and down 2. It's easier to do these translations kind of all at the same time just because that will clutter up your graph. Now you could certainly do left 4, draw that graph, and then down 2 and draw that graph. That works too. But I'm going to do both of these. Okay, so let's start with this point. Again, I'm not using this original graph anymore. I reflected it. So I'm going to use this reflected graph, and I highly suggest doing the reflections first if you have multiple transformations. So we're going to do it in that order. Reflect, then move, then move. Okay, so we have left 4 units, down 2. So I'm taking this one left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2, 1, 2. That's our new point. Now we're going to do the next one. So left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2. And we're going to do the origin, left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2. So we should be replicating this graph, just moved over and down. Okay, now we've got this point. We're moving 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2. And now we're down here at this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2. So our final answer, our final graph will be the green line. This is your function f of x. Okay, so one more time, the order was reflect first, then move left or right, then move up or down. I usually find it's easiest just to go in order from left to right based on what the function gives us. So reflect, move, move. And that is one example of graphing with multiple transformations.